Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome to my 31 Days of Horror in October, Day 11. Today I'm going to be taking a look at The Reaper. I love these jewel cases, except for when they break. I've always kind of been a fan of them. I always thought they looked kind of cool, but like I said, once they break, they pretty much suck. But anyway, The Reaper is a 2000 film which runs approximately 96 minutes and is also known by the name Reaper. Now, this is directed by John Bradshaw. He did a movie that I recently picked up called Specimen and Death Junction. Also, he did a ton of TV. Now, this stars Jen's reviews from the Graves' favorite, or one of her favorites, Chris Sarandon, as I found out the other night, as Luke Sinclair. Now, he was in Fright Night, Dog Day Afternoon, Child's Play, and Bordello of Blood from Tales from the Crypt. And another mainstay in the 80s, Catherine Mary Stewart, as Sonia Lerman. She was in Night of the Comet, The Last Starfighter, which I absolutely loved, The Attic, and Night Flyers. Not the Stephen King Night Flyers, but a different one that I actually haven't seen. And finally, this stars Vlasta Viana as Sheriff Norris. He was in The Glass Castle, Wicker Park, The Timeline, and The Human Stain, which I have seen. I believe that has Anthony Hopkins and Nicole Kidman in it, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this film was made in Canada using the tax fund. And it kind of comes off like a giallo a little bit. Now, giallo is an Italian thing, so it's not really a giallo, but it kind of plays out like one. This is mostly a thriller and a murder mystery, although it does have horror elements. And I was actually surprised in how much I liked it. Now, Chris Sarandon plays Luke Sinclair. He is an author that writes books about serial killers. And he just came out with a book called The Reaper and is taking a bit of backlash. Kind of like the writer in Sinister. He has an alcohol problem, and he has to take medication for his, let's just say, depression. He has a wife and a daughter, and he also has writer's block. Now, he's being pressured by the book company to release his next book. He hasn't written a word, so he decides to get away and go to a remote motel up the coast. Pretty much dives into his work, and there are murders going on. Catherine Mary Stewart plays a sergeant detective in the sex crimes department. She is researching the case along with Sheriff Norris and a few others. And of course, Chris Sarandon becomes one of the suspects. I'm going to leave it there. This has a ton of twists and turns. I was pretty sure I knew who the killer was. I was wrong. I thought I was right, then I was wrong. It has a lot of red herrings, even though there aren't that many people in the actual film. And it's done extremely well. Now, I gave this a 7. And that is 7 smashed pumpkins. The reason why it didn't get a little higher, and this is just a personal nitpick of mine, is the way they ended it. And the ending is completely fine, believe me. Kind of seemed like a TV movie. Now, when I'm watching something that is not a TV movie, and they kind of end it like that, it just is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I've noticed that I've it's bothered me before, but for some reason it bothered me a little bit more on this one. Probably because I was so into this movie. It was done extremely well. I mean, you guys know that Chris Sarandon and Mary Catherine Stewart are fantastic actors. The sheriff, the guy that played Sheriff Norris, was also really, really good in it. But ending left me a little dry because it seemed like a TV movie ending. But 7 is a pretty good score. I definitely recommend it if you can find it. Just know that it is a little light on the horror. But stay tuned for day 12. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.